This podcast is created in memory and legacy to the artist and beatmaker, my brother Marcus Smitty Smith, and all the artists in the world who want to tell their journey and story. This is the Artist Spotlight Series. On this week's episode of Smitty's Eyes Open, Artist INSPOS, episode number 21, entitled Relentless with No Remorse, we will have entrepreneur and designer TIFFANY Johnson.
Welcome to this week's episode of Smitty's Eyes Open, Artist INSPOS, where we inspire and admire, motivate to elevate, and shine by design. On this week's episode entitled Resilience with No Remorse, you will meet a special person in my life. She grew up with me and my brother. She's family, y'all. She's an entrepreneur of a design company, Cathartically Created Designs, as well as a mom, as well as a mentor, a woman of God, an entrepreneur, and so many things at so many times often. Without further ado, I'll introduce you to my cousin, TIFFANY Johnson.
Oh, hey. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for obliging.
Thank you.
Thank you for being fearless, Tiff. This really is a moment stamped in history, and I know Mark's spirit is all around us.
Absolutely. All the time.
Yes. For your inspo word, because we usually ask our guests for one word or phrase that inspires them. You said resilient.
Yeah.
Why resilient?
Just as life happens to all of us, right? I'm often told, you're strong. And it'll almost make you be resentful if you're not careful because of what strong entails. And most of the time, too, you're put in situations to be strong, not because that's what you want to do, but what's the alternative, right? Mm-hmm. But in that, I'm grateful to be viewed as strong, right? But I'd rather be resilient. Resilient means there's nothing that can happen to me that I can't come back from. And strength may fade, right? But if you have it in your mind, especially more mental than anything, to be resilient.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you took the resilience instead of being resentful and turned that around.
Exactly. I mean, because if you're not careful, right, this thing called life is just, it don't let up. You know what I mean? And I often hear people say, man, I couldn't get over this before this happened, or because that's just not how life works. It doesn't wait for a time, right? And so if you're not careful, it can make you be, resentful. You can become bitter, right? Because you got people out here that's just, no matter how good you are to them, it's not reciprocated, right? Even though that expectation shouldn't necessarily be there. This conversation for another time. But just the things that happen in life, right? You often hear like, man, they're such a good person, and why did that happen to them? Or somebody's health fails, and if you're not careful, you just be like, it can make you be resentful because we often think about maybe what we could have done, or maybe something that we may have missed out on, or if I would have made this decision, or what have you. But again, what can we control, right? And so that's something for me to be intentional about. Definitely be resilient. Don't be resentful.
I love it. And talking to you, also knowing you, we similar in that way, right?
We was here when I got here, yeah.
Similar in that way, you all. We can carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, and nobody would know.
Yeah.
Nobody would know what we're going through. The saying, check on your strong friends, is very, very real.
For sure.
You know, everybody carries stress differently. Everybody handles situations differently. This young lady, my cousin, has always been an example of strength. But as she's saying, that does not mean that I almost feel like I'm not going to break at times.
Yeah.
But she leans on her faith and she keeps it moving. And she's a mentor and strength for our cousin whom she adopted.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you know, it's just one of the things where you mentioned faith, and I can't remember where I heard it from, but it resonated so deeply, right? When it comes to us and our faith. Do you believe in God or whomever you believe in, or do you believe in the outcome? Right? And that completely just lit off something for me, because it's usually, most people use God like a genie. I'm praying to God for this thing. I'm praying to God for this job. Instead of trusting God for the outcome. Because what if the outcome isn't supposed to be that job that I'm praying so deeply for, right? Or this person that I just want to be with, or this life that I have imagined for myself. And so you can't have both. Because do I have faith in the thing, or do I have faith in my God, right? And so it's like, okay, God, this looks nothing like what I thought. But my trust is in you and not in the outcome, right? And as you mentioned, talking about Kanaya, my little 9-year-old Sour Patch. But again, for me, never thought I would be a mother in that capacity, not even a single mother, right? Just in my mind, being intentional about, I done seen enough of my friends, you know, that are single parents. Like, I honor them, but I know how difficult it is, right?
Yes.
And just in society, right? Like, I never thought of that for me, right?
Yeah.
But again, you have to be open to where God leads you to be. And even in that, people will get so tied up in a feeling. Because I'm doing what God told me to do. It's euphoric. You're euphoric. It's not. Because feelings ain't you know, always a reality. Because you know, feelings change, but we get so stuck on the feeling of how something is supposed to feel.
That's right.
And so when it doesn't feel the way that we envisioned it to feel, we start to resent it, right?
Whether it be,
I got married to be happy, but you're not making me happy. Because who told you that? I had this child because I wanted somebody to love me unconditionally. What if they special needs? You know what I mean? Like, you have it in your mind the way that you think something is supposed to be based off of a feeling. But again, leaning into your faith and being obedient to God, it's just really like your mama used to tell you, this is what I told you, right?
Yes.
I can't tie nothing else to it off of just what I know I need to do, but your wisdom.
That's right.
You can see past what I can see. So in becoming Kanaya's mother, of course, tied into so many other things, because through that, I'm supposed to have celebrated becoming a mother, right? But how do we do that? Well, I became a mother through losing somebody that I was raised with. You know,
rite of passage was
exactly. So it was very different, right? And so again, you know, in a lot of ways that people mean well, because of course when it happened, everybody wanted to, oh my God, I think that's such an amazing thing. You know, it's such a blessing. But it was almost like, how do I celebrate this and still be able to grieve, right?
Yes.
But two things can be true at the same time. But even in death, I'm a firm believer that nobody leaves this earth before they do what they're supposed to do. We pray for it, but we don't know what their prayers were to God. You know what I mean? Or what God's intent was from them from jump. And again, because not to be insensitive, whether it be somebody that carried a child and they were stillborn. We get so stuck on the loss. But what did I learn in that?
The lesson.
You know what I mean? What changed about me within that space, right? But even in this, I said that to say, I wasn't running out looking for no kids, right? I'm single.
Is it okay for us to honor our cousin Adriana?
Absolutely.
And let them know also, we lost our 21-year-old cousin which her daughter, our other cousin, Kanaya, is who Tiffany adopted at what? Kanaya was what, 1?
She was 14 months.
She was 14 months.
Yep. And in 2016, October 2016.
Drive by in Roseland. Beautiful person, still beautiful spirit all around us. Just excited to be and to be a mom.
Everything. I'm so excited to be a mom, right?
Yes.
Took her baby any and everywhere, and just such a celebration. But again, like you said, God knows, because although Kanaya's due date was not August 2nd, that's when she came into the world. It was a little bit after. I have to look at her baby book to tell you, but just so God orchestrated it to where Adriana's birthday and Kanaya's birthday would be on the same day.
Yep.
And Adriana wouldn't have had it no other way.
Yeah.
What's the irony in that? But again, because she said y'all gonna remember me every
that's
time,
right?
So that's just the type of person, you know what I mean, that she was, and the spirit that she carried. So I wouldn't have thought anything else. But yeah, it definitely wasn't her due date. But she, that's when Kanaya came into the world, right? And so to be left with a piece of her, yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then also knowing that was intentional, because that could have gone another way. Adriana had Kanaya with her when it happened, right?
Yeah, she did.
As we hear about those things. So even in talking to her, just know how intentional and how divine your place is on this earth.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, like we said, it could have gone another way, but it didn't. That's so now you're here. So what with your place in the world is needed and necessary.
I always think about you all back to growing up. We all grew up in the house together. My grandparents, my mom, my auntie, her mom, my other auntie. How many was us?
It's 9 first cousins. I always say it like this: it's 9 first cousins. Then you got 3 kids, and then plus the grandparents, and our house was the house, okay? And my grandmother had 13 or 14 brothers and sisters. 14.
It was 17, I thought.
Nope.
Twins.
14 brothers and sisters, and then Papa's siblings as well. But I said that to say, again, just a large family. So there was a time where probably every cousin done stayed at that house. And if it wasn't cousins, it was neighbors. So again, our house was the house, right?
Yes.
So, always something going on, always something happening. You know what I mean? It definitely was a time. I of course, as we look back, right, I cherish the way that we were brought up and the things that were instilled in us. Definitely. I observed my grandmother take care of her house and her husband. I observed her husband go out and provide, and protect the home. And not just that, but just being blessed to be a part of or in the lineage of somebody that's so well respected, right? Papa was everybody Papa. Right? Papa was everybody Papa. But Grace said, y'all play with him. Don't play with him.
I think we get a little bit of both.
Don't you play with him, don't play with me, right? But just to be a part of a lineage that held such just respect and everybody respected that.
Tradition.
Even within the family, you know what I mean? Like they're held at such a high esteem, right? So it's definitely a blessing. Even in those things, being predominantly raised by grandparents, I couldn't have had it any other way.
Such a blessing. You
know what I mean? It's not how I feel. It's like, how could you? You know what I mean? Like, raised by grandparents, a wonderful village. I often talk about, even in village, like with some of my mom's friends, just being a part of me, and who I am. Yes. I was joking because one of her close friends, I used to go spend the night over there with her and her daughter, used to make popcorn over the stove.
I think I remember that.
Diane used to make popcorn over, the stove. Yes. And so I had some popcorn, and I was excited, like, oh, I'm about to pop this. So I'm telling Kanaya, girl, why it ain't even pop? Mine ain't pop at all.
You had the oil, you had the kernels, right?
I was so mad because the thing, of course, that olive oil. And my coworker who pops popcorn all the time, she started laughing. She said, "Girl, no, because it's vegetable oil." I'm like, "They said don't use vegetable oil." I use my expensive pressed olive oil, virgin olive oil, and it did not pop. I was pissed because I was like, "Well, Mom, baby, I was so over it."
Well, at least you was trying to go back.
But now I don't feel. I said I'm not gonna take defeat. We gonna try it again.
Okay, now you talk about cooking. Why you bring that up? You just made me think about you and Mark.
Oh my gosh! So I tell anybody
this day?
some bacon, and I don't eat eggs, so it's bacon and eggs, but I don't eat it. So
they got me in trouble, y'all.
I tell anybody, I don't think I got whoopings organically. It usually was led to something else, and because me and Marcus attached at the hip. He wasn't saying nothing. I wasn't saying nothing. Like literally,
Tom and Jerry.
I was right, exactly. And I don't have biological siblings, but I often tell people my cousins, who we were raised with, like my siblings, and so Marcus being my brother cousin, right? But he was mischievous. He was the cut off his nose despite his face, right? And so, of course, we weren't allowed to cook or maybe cooking with supervision. And I think your mom was laying down, not feeling good. Oh, well, my mama said we could make some breakfast. And so, of course, I'm dumb, frying bacon, eggs, and I guess it got to her nose. What y'all doing? Oh, we in here making breakfast. You said that we could.
You really need no more that olive oil.
Of course, we got in trouble because of Marcus.
What was I at, Tiff?
No, you got in trouble for. It was tried to get you in trouble for the pictures.
I got a whooping for that.
What else? I'm telling you. Marcus did. He kept us in trouble. But my trick was I used to try to get at the end of the line because by the time they got to me, y'all be too tired.
But he would take the whoopings first, y'all.
Do you remember? Like we were getting ready to go to school, and I feel like I was wrapped up like Rudy Huxtable on the Cosby Show, because I was in kindergarten at the time, and we were getting ready to go, and I don't remember what Auntie Louise said to him or something. And he told her, well, tough titty. She said, what?
Woo! Was that the soap?
Flu. And the soap. And the soap. And I'm sitting here like I'm about to melt to death because now he got to get in trouble before we go to school. And he was just, again, stubborn in his way, did not care. He took it. He took it. But yeah, so a lot of the discipline that occurred definitely came from me being Marcus's rider. And not telling. Sana was telling though. Sana told I'm not about to get in trouble for nobody. I'm gonna give you the whole rundown. She gonna tell you because I'm not getting a whooping. And you're right. I'm with you when you're right. I'm about getting in trouble for him.
My mama talk about all for one, one for all. At least if I get in trouble, can I have participated?
Nope, and that's not what it was. But Sana usually wasn't involved in what we had going on.
Let's talk about the holidays, the Christmases, the presents.
Oh my gosh! So of course, before Aldi became popular, you remember Papa Christmas shopped at Aldi.
Yeah,
a lot of our dolls and everything came.
Yeah.
So and I think to this day I prefer Aldi spraying hot sauce over everybody because that's what we.
Oh my God, it's flames.
Because that's what we ate. But no, just like they created, and I often think back like I don't even know how because it was so many of us. Right?
Yes. Humble beginnings.
But everything was so big. Everything was so big. Like everything was just big. So putting up Christmas decorations and pulling the lights down out the attic. And this was back when if one light was out, the whole string did not work. It was not like now. They don't get you had to figure out which bulb did not work. Right? But we looked forward to hanging up the Christmas decorations. We got the lights outside and changing the plants in the house, and they bought up them nuts and fruit and all that stuff on the counters, and Granny would put the runner on the table, and all of those things. Like I said, we had dolls, we had all types of stuff.
Yes,
we had all types of stuff. And then like you said, talking about cooking, I again observed both of my grandmothers too. That's how I learned to cook. Like watching them in the kitchen. Crazy thing about it is, Asia cooks. That's my best friend. Grew up.
Shout out to Asia.
So she's passionate about cooking and baking.
Yeah.
I cook because I have to.
She
cooks with. I'm telling you, I'm glad to have the skill, right, to be able to have enough knowledge, you know, to at least for the start, you know, when it comes to a lot of dishes and make a lot of dishes, but.
So, but speaking about passion and creativity, let's talk about what made you want to start your business.
So,
and give them the name.
Cathartically Created, you guys. So,
can we talk about what the word means?
Yep. So, cathartic, as Kasana mentioned at the very beginning. So, like cathartic or catharsis, it's like the art of, like a release through music, through art, or you know, just some form. And so, me being a person that, you know, just moves, it gave me a sense of calm to kind of start this. So I guess to give a bit of background, as we talked about Mark, you know, with his art background and his music background. Fun fact, Mark and my father, I actually hold a lot of weight of me being such like a music head. So like a lot of hip hop and you know, a lot of that music and the beats and even just art things, right? Because Marcus would tell me, take a picture of this and send it to me, right? I remember he hand painted the LeBron puppet and sent it to me, and I had, you know, exclusive merchandise. You know, I was excited about that. But again, just being such a trailblazer before he even realized it, honestly, because now you see people with the handmade and, you know, it's one of a kind. But this probably, I was probably close to 20 years ago. Yeah, but even in our childhood, you know, like with him in music and him being a hip hop head, and I think I had the biggest crush on Noriega and Memphis Bleak. Him and Wu-Tang and Method Man. Yep, so all of it, right? But again, he, you know, we had that in common, and so as I got older, and again, just being interested in art stuff, and of course we think about that like just with drawing or whatever, but no, it can be, you know, like just a visionary, right?
That's right.
And so ultimately with that, I went into helping one of my best friends with her entrepreneurship journey of event planning, Tammy.
Oh yeah,
yep.
Tammy.
So I was her assistant and event planning assistant for years, right? And then moving forward into, of course, as the world just went crazy in 2020, that December, my father was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and by February, he was gone. And so I spent that time between December and February, you know, traveling back and forth, and because he was in Denver, lived in Denver, and so traveling back and forth to be with him, and you know, be with him for his treatments, and you know, all of that type of stuff. And then, you know, he passed away. And so, you know, grief is an interesting thing.
Girl.
Grief is an interesting thing. But what I will say about this, I have learned that I don't share a lot of the same sentiments that a lot of people do. I think I grieve the living more than I do the dead. It's crazy as that sounds.
Because you know they're going to...
But I guess because it's like, you know, if something is living, like you can hold on to the hope and the possibility or whatever.
True.
But it's like, death is final, right? And it's one of those things where you make peace with it. I did learn that weddings can be a trigger for me, which is interesting because I'm a person, I told my daddy service, I was like, I don't want a wedding. I'll probably pop up married, I'd have a reception, something. And he's like, well, I'm going to walk you down the aisle. I'm like, well, Daddy, I don't know. I guess we gonna walk in the courthouse.
He's so silly.
But, you know, stuff is different.
Yeah.
Even because it's an option. But with him not being here, and it's like, Daddy, what if I change my mind? You're not even here to be able to do it. You know what I mean? So, grief in that kind of way for me, it's just like, what do you channel it to? You know what I mean? I don't believe in any wasted, you know, experiences. Anything that I go through, I always talk to God. Just help me to use it for what you have me to use it for.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
I'll edit this part. Hello. Hi. I'm in the middle of an interview. You outside? Okay, I'm gonna get somebody to open the door for you. Okay. Jabril, the comedian. Could you open the door for him? Thanks, Auntie. I'm sorry, Tiff.
Nope, you're okay. But so, you know, you channel that energy, and you hear a lot of people like when grief comes, they done bought a big purchase, or they done cut their hair off, or did something drastic, you know. I had actually, as I was traveling back and forth, just came across like some DIY stuff on Instagram. I think just scrolling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I could do that, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. And what sparked my interest more than looking at like glass etching and laser, you know, that type of stuff. And the thing about being a creative is you can get overwhelmed with the possibilities, right?
Lost in it, baby.
And so for me, so as I'm traveling back and forth, you know, sitting in those hotels, you know, visiting my dad and all of those things, I'm just researching and looking. And it's a good, not necessarily distraction, but you know, something to do. So then I decide I'm gonna start off. I fell in love with resin art, and also, like I said, these glass crafts, right? And so again, I'm never a person that likes to go a conventional route, because you got people out here, and it's not shade, it's just not my lane, right? Yeah. So you know, like you do the cute glasses with the rhinestones and the glitter.
We like to be unique.
I want it. You're like, nope, I know somebody that do that. I know somebody that does this. So nope, this is what I do, right? Even as we were just talking about Tammy with her grapes, and people, oh, you do strawberry? Nope, grapes. This is what it is. So I found myself, again, like you can be overwhelmed with the possibilities. So you walking in Michael's, and you just getting all this stuff. Like, Tiffany, what are you doing? What are you going to focus on, right?
You were excited,
yeah. Like I said, you get excited about but then it can be overwhelming, right? So the thing with the resin art is you have to know how to pour it and mix it, and it takes a lot of, you know, patience, but it's also a very expensive craft. So I often tell people, if that's what you're choosing to do, you got to do it because you love it. Because if you're trying to sell a product, your profit gonna be
everybody trying to get a deal
because it costs so much, you know what I mean? So like I played around with it. I think I made like a set of dominoes, but it's like you'd have to sell it for so much.
I see that.
Girl, this again, we go because I ain't touched resin in probably about 3 and like left it alone.
I tried to
real
make
fast.
A little tray and it was hard.
No, I left it alone. But again, I had molds and everything, right? And so I started off making cute stuff, and I'm like, no, this ain't it. You know, I can go back to this.
Yeah.
And then got the Cricut software, start playing around with that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm about to start making coasters. And
So any specializations, engravings? What's your website, Tiff, where they can purchase?
You go to my Instagram at Cathartically Created. I'll put it up too, so you can it'll be a link or like a QR code.
Okay, cool. Okay. Oh, it's just for your dad.
And so I made, this is one of my first decanters, of course, and my dad was a Hennessy drinker, right? But I just, again, trying it out, wanted to see it. So it has Marlon Mike Johnson. Funny story. My dad's name is Marlon, but everybody called him Mike. I don't know where it came from. My mom's name is Tanya. Everybody calls her Tina. I don't know where that came from. But anyway, yeah, so it has his name and then date of birth and date of expiration up there.
That's nice, Tiff. Yep. Like this.
And so,
tribute to Dad.
Ghost got this made for Marcus with his set. So it got Smitty on the back.
Aww.
I think that's why he gonna come get it.
Yeah.
I think that's why
Ghost
he gonna come
was
get it.
my brother's one of his best friends. My brother has like how many best friends? Like 7 of them. They went to high school.
They all went. Yep. All came across each other in some way, shape, or fashion.
Ignore my nails. My nails not done.
He's so silly. And then got some coasters.
Oh y'all, she got the coasters too. How much the coasters run for?
There's a set of 4 for $30.
That's bad at all. I might want you to do me some coasters.
Yeah.
You have your business card?
Yep.
Okay, we're gonna put your business card. Leave me with one and I'll make sure.
I sure will.
Oh, now this is some cute sayings, y'all.
My mood set.
Me, I love it. Oh, this is her mood set.
That's what I call it, my mood set.
Very
but of course,
creative.
other options and stuff available.
And it's inspirational.
So the thing with the coasters are, what a lot of people don't realize, just when it comes to art itself, right? It's not a machine, it's my hand. So everything is handmade, right? And so
oh, you're etching with your
I etch with my hand.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I etch with my hand. I do have a laser engraver that I have not mastered, and even like a engraving tool. So but those are again etched by hand. So that's why I tell people, keep in mind, I pretty quick turnaround because I've got to the point where I can do it, rather quickly. But depending on the order, I just want to make sure that.
I said what I said.
And yeah, so visit my my Instagram and text or call me. We'll have all that information on the video as well. I do a lot, and a lot of my work is custom, right? So I often get invited to do like different vending events, but I don't often take them because I make stuff to order, right? It's very personalized, and I want people to feel that way.
God goes grind. This is her mood set. 4 coasters. Everything will be okay.
Thanks. Just now.
Man.
And she does this all by hand. Yes, she does it by hand. She has you said you had a laser.
Yeah, so I have but this is done by hand. So this is actual like glass etching, right? So
she giving me this one.
Yeah, customized.
Yeah.
I love the wow factor. So I often ask, like, do you want a picture? Like once you've chosen your design. But I love the responses, like when you see certain things come to life, right? Yes. Especially for pieces that are, like tug at the heart, or this is what you got, made for. So again, I made this for my dad. I guess I should fill it up with his drink, right? And then, like I said, speaking about this for one of Marcus's friends that he got made, right? And so again, Marcus has his own glass, Ghost has his glass. So, it's all about honor, especially, in death. And I think it's such a deep honor to have left such an impact. Because that speaks to your life and the way that you lived. You know what I mean? Right. Of course, you do have people that, live, like my grandmother lived to be 93, to God be the glory, a beautiful life lived, but everybody's not that blessed, right?
Nope.
And so within the time that we have, we can control how we live. I can't control how I get out of here. You know what I mean? And so, again, a prayer, don't remember how I passed away.
Right.
Remember
the
how
moments
I lived,
that we
right?
had together.
Remember how I lived, right? And then what do you have to live on? So whether it be through art or platforms like this, to be able to share, I think is super dope and important.
I agree.
Super dope and important.
And you had the classy grandmas on both sides.
I did, I did. And again, it's a blessing to just be able to be a part of such a lineage. You know what I mean? Again, very well respected, very, very well rounded. You know what I mean? Just so much wisdom. I'm the ultimate grandparents' kid, right? That's probably why now, like, I love singers.
What did Papa used to call you? The golden child?
Oh, the golden child.
Yes.
He called me the golden child. So, but I loved it. And, you get older, wisdom is it. Wisdom is, if you don't have wisdom. We are so blessed
to have had that.
Yeah, literally, if you don't have wisdom, you don't have nothing. You don't have nothing. And again, that's biblical. The whole book of Proverbs, just speaking about wisdom and how important it is to hold on to that. That's something, can't nobody take that away from you.
That's right.
I can get money, I can lose it, but if I got wisdom, I'm gonna get it back. But I'm a firm believer in that. So, for sure.
We come from humble beginnings, with lots of wisdom.
Yeah. And
we know how to grind. As you can
see.
Right? So what's next, Tiff? What's next in store?
So I want to again just get deeper in my craft and learn more, right? Learn different techniques. I want to stay on glass. I'm not looking to venture off. I'm not making t-shirts. I'm not doing none of that. No shade.
Wait a minute. Have people been asking?
Oh, I have been asked because people hear, or see you have a cricket machine, or you're like, oh, you make t-shirt? No, baby, I'm not making no t-shirt. But I can point you in the direction of somebody that does, right? But it's just such a dope thing to be able to, a skill, right? A passion to create. And in that, as we were talking about the process, is something that causes me to slow down. Just again, with this life I live, I'm a single mother. You know what I mean? I was somebody that took care of my grandmother. I'm the only child. So, with me and my mom, whatever's going on, like, I'm present and I'm there. But and I also, at the time when I started this, I was doing investigations for child services. So a very demanding job, right? So somebody that's moving, every time I'm somewhere, I'm planning for what's next. So, my mind moving, my body moving. Mm-hmm. This made me find still moments, right? Because of course we'll hear like, man, you got to chill out. No, sometimes you have to create those moments, or God knew I needed it intentionally, because with this, if you rush it, it ain't gonna come out right. I could tell y'all how many glasses I've wasted. But if the product didn't sit long enough, or if I did this too fast, or I ripped this too quickly, right? And even with that, I practice in calligraphy too.
Nice.
So even in thinking about, oh, this is a craft that I like doing, or thinking of a business name, or what do I call this, I did not want to box it in, right? Because if I put something about glass, this I can only make glass, right? Or if I put it into, ultimately I want to get into all of those things under this umbrella. I have my grandmother used to tell me all the time, like, Tiffany, you need to write a book. I have so many excerpts and so many notes, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be under my own publishing company, right? So it's not just me doing that.
Yes.
Like, we gon' sit at these tables, we gonna bring our meat to the table, right? And so that's something that I want to bring to the table. All of this stuff under Cathartically Created, because that's what it is. So doing the calligraphy, right? You can't rush through that, and a lot of people say, man, you got good handwriting. You can't rush through this calligraphy. It's all of these things cause you to take time and pause,
and reflect, right? And release, like you said.
Yep. So it's good for me, and it's funny because even as you talk about a business, like with any creative, and they may never admit it, but it's super dope to have the skill to create, and you love the outcome. But when you're able to create on your own time and space, but the trajectory changes when you are bound by like an order, right?
Bound. I heard that
in another
interview.
You know what I mean? So it's like, man, I feel like I have to.
Yes.
I feel like I have to. And I can say definitely, even going into 3 years almost exactly, I've never had anybody be so rigid to where I couldn't add in my own, right? I learned in event planning, a lot of times people ask for stuff, they really don't know what they want.
They don't, babe.
You know what I mean? And so it's like, am I going to stress myself out and ask you 50,000 questions, or, hey, give me an idea, or, oh, can you make me a set of coasters for my aunt? Okay, cool, what's her name? Tell me what she likes. Boom, I got it from there.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
They allow you to be creative.
Just to be able to do so, right? Unless it's something just very specific. But even in that, usually, like I said, you can tell me something and I'll take it and make it something beautiful, right? Yeah. So again, even in that, asking God to continue to use me, right? To be that visionary. Keep blessing my hands, keep blessing my mind, keep blessing my heart, so that I can continue to, create. And like we said, everything that we do must be for the glory of God.
That's right, too.
Everything. And so even in your weary moments, as we're talking about, being relentless and being resilient, when you know that, God, I'm doing this for your glory. And I talk to anybody, and I'm very candid about my parenthood journey. You know what I mean? Even in that, because you're going to get tired.
Yeah.
You're going to get weary. It ain't about how you feel, because you got somebody dependent on you. God, I'm doing this for your glory.
That's right. First and foremost,
I'm doing this for your glory. Because in anything that I'm doing, and Granny used to tell us all the time, you never know who's watching you. You never know who's looking at what you're doing. They may never tell you, or it may come years down the line.
Silent admirers.
You know what I mean? They won't tell you, but or like I said, or they may tell you years down the line, but you don't know what example you're leading with, right? Because we talked about Asia with her cooking and her healthcare. Just now, we about to be 40. You know, my mom used to take care of our grandmother when her health started failing. And lo and behold, Asia grew up and started doing some of the same things. And so she attributed it to, like, man, I used to watch your mom take care of Granny. Like, who knew? Never heard of, never
Asia
knew
has
that.
a big heart too.
You know what I mean?
God,
and so it's like, again, you don't know what you're doing, you know, can lead somebody else. And when you understand that nothing is by coincidence, nothing is by, you know, happenstance, that if what me being obedient is tied to somebody else's destiny, it's that serious, right? You can't play with that.
No.
Because even in me being obedient to taking Kanaya, being tied to her destiny, how can I argue with that?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even in that, like, or being raised by my grandmother for the latter part of my life, if she wasn't obedient to that, how would I be obedient to taking Kanaya?
Yeah,
and she was the person that told me.
Yes.
She came out her mouth when we got a phone call about Adriana just being shot and having to go to the hospital. When I called my grandmother as I'm driving, she said, Tiffany, you got to go get that baby. I said, I'm going to call you back. Because that ain't what I call, you know, but I mean, literally.
She knew.
She knew. I wasn't trying to hear that. Because who?
Yeah, I know, Tiff. I know.
And I say, no, again, in my mind, if this is what it comes to, I will help whomever with support. Do you hear me?
I think I just had to say thank you, Tiff.
No, but seriously, in my mind,
I am being serious.
In my mind, it's like, oh man, I help whoever needs it. Never in my mind.
You will forever be blessed.
But do you understand what I'm saying? It's so that's so heavy.
Another life that you have to be responsible.
But I tell people again, I'm being completely transparent if we're talking about a feeling, because if you tell people the story, they tell you, oh, like you got a baby the easy way, right? Or you're gonna be so blessed, like, or painting this picture of it being such a perfect thing because I did something great, right?
But not knowing
But to me, like, what people don't look at, it's like this is every day. This is an everyday thing, right? And again, like I keep saying, will tell anybody, if you think obedience is attached to how you feel, it's a no.
I didn't know I was gonna start a podcast.
See, you know what I mean?
I just said okay.
But you have to be, because it's like, again, even in that, it's hard work. It's not hours of editing. It's not
a craze.
I didn't do this for a hobby. I didn't do this because I like to be on camera.
You do it, and you should always be
to glorify the King.
Yeah, because again, your story is tied to somebody else's. Because again, the enemy is tricky. He'll make us think, ain't nobody going through this with me. And you know what? As I had conversations with Kanaya often, look, sadly, we live in a world where we are not the only people to have experienced this. And on top of that, we will not be the last, right? We can't get so caught up in that. We can't get so caught up in that, humbly speaking. This is something that happens, right? But if this is our life and this is what, you know, we're here to do, we got to do our best. Right. We got to do our best. So you don't get to hang up on things, or because life happening to everybody. You know, even when things feel the heaviest, and you often say like, man, keep me on the side of being grateful. And I tell people this, and I often be like, man, I don't want to be the toxic positive person. You know what I mean? Like, Dad, you always got something. I'm always going to continue to be a glass half full person.
That's right.
I think that's the only way that I'm able to stay sane. As I do understand the other side of it, right? And so I pray to not be that. So now that I'm here, I'm never going to retreat, right? Because it's that deep. Like, I don't know how you can survive a lot of the things that we've survived if you don't. You know what I mean? Because again, we all here, we all living. Life is life.
Yes.
To times 20.
Yes.
But again, I always ask God to help me to stay grateful. Even if we're talking about my dad who lived to be 62 years old. It's not really old.
No.
Not old at all. But I thank you for the time that I had to experience him as my father, right? And again, I'm not exempt. I'm raising a child who lost her mother at 14 months. My grandmother lost her father at, I think she was about 9. So again, you know what I mean? It's like, but the years that I had, I'm grateful that they were good experiences.
That's right.
Because we're not promised, we're not owed a thing, we're not owed a day. Every day, every opportunity that we get, it's grace and a blessing from God. And if you don't take it in as such, and again, I'm not speaking, like anything cryptic or dark in my life, but I pray that if I have to get out of here at a young age, that people can speak to the time that they had. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Some people pass away and ain't a soul at their funeral at their old age. Probably they outlived everybody, but also too, you get that old, somebody, they should be knocking down. So don't talk about, you lived all this time. You know what I mean? But we can't get so caught up on it because it's not guaranteed.
That's right.
And so it's like, man, such and such passed away, man, they were so young. Life ain't a guarantee for us to live to be 100 and nothing. You know what I mean? Like, what is your guarantee? Hopefully that I'm going to wake up, I'm going to get up, go through another day. You know what I mean? But to live in a way where you feel like something is promised to you or you expect it, that's not it at all. That's why it's all a gift. The gift to create, the gift to do this, the gift to be with family. Just the blessings that I think that we have been blessed to experience. All of it is divine, and I'm grateful. That's just it.
Thank you, Tiffany Johnson.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, cuz. This was beautiful.
Thank you.
I know that she is a beacon of light in our family, and knowing that she was a beacon of light and inspiration to all you viewers and listeners. Thank you all. Until next time.
Follow me, I follow back.
You told them where to follow you again?
So you'll follow me at Cathartically Created. We will post it for the spelling purposes because I don't want to say it in my nerves and I spell it wrong. But Cathartically Created on Instagram.
Okay.
Been trying so hard not to blow up at you. Been trying so hard not to blow